Good morning, sunshines. This is the Om reaching out very, very early in the morning, still dark outside, and starting up my mind stream this morning, looking at different YouTube videos, seeing what the sense makers and the psychologists and the expert manifestors of the law of attraction. And I find myself, first of all, looking at a lot of these narratives and and realizing that I'm not really in sync with much of what is being put out there. And I think it's because the focus is sort of, it feels like it lies on telling people what to do, how to think, how to feel. It feels like there is this idea that people have to influence others instead of just, working on acceptance that what is, instead of focusing on ourself and figuring out what are the steps that we need to take in order to transmutate or to transform the energies or the sort of the experiences that we're having, especially if they're not experiences that we're necessarily in love with. There's a lot of work to be done for sure, but I don't think our work is really about trying to influence others. Our work is just really about regaining a sense of autonomy and control and sense-making rationality over self. So how does one go about doing that? Well, for starters, everybody out there that I've been looking at, and I think it's important always to have some kind of reflection, some kind of out there to mirror in what's really going on in here. But I kind of feel like the out there often, even though well-meaning, becomes way too suggestive in a sense that when you don't know how to think or what to feel or what to believe, our first inclination is to pick up what somebody else is telling you. And our first inclination is not often just to sit there and wait until, I don't know, the idea pops into your head. What shall I think? What shall I feel? What shall I believe about what's going on? How shall I react to my life right now? How will how will I spend my time today? Where will I focus that energy? And what is my goal in terms of the intention of of what I'm putting out there and what I'm looking to bring back within myself. So I feel like there's a lot, I'm sorry guys, a lot of white man influence out there trying to tell people what we have to do, using things like war on sense making, the war against sense making, the war on human consciousness. I find that these are actually using the power of words in a way that almost misaligns the mark in terms of how this is going to actually improve the quality of life experience for the individual on a day-to-day. It's like, improving your life experience or the quality of your day-to-day existence doesn't come from disconnecting or chopping other people away. I believe that it comes from kind of coming to a place of sense making within yourself in peace and in quiet without necessarily having a major amount of external influence. It's coming to a place of understanding, where does my intention actually sit in here? This is really about awakening the emotional body by understanding that not only is there a brain happening in here, there's actually a brain, a sense of intellect happening in here. And balance and sense making, from where I'm coming from, I think is a marriage of the two. It's like a balance of what is above, so below, what is outside, so internally. And I think naturally we all know what core self feels like when we strike that balance. And we can look at different examples on just on a really simplistic level. Like, how did you feel last night when you went to bed? And did you take time to sit, create space and time to sit in that feeling and ask yourself, what does this mean to me? See, I think at the end of the day, we are all energy in motion. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transferred from one place to another. I believe that energy follows thought, and what drives our thoughts is our emotions. And these emotions are powerful. They manifest themselves in kind of like unique signatures in every person. And it's not as it's simple on the one hand, but it's actually vast and complex on the other, because there's a range, obviously, that people feel when going through the emotions that they have. And I don't think as individuals or even collectively have focused a heck of a lot of attention on that. So the majority of what we do in psychology, even now when I look online on the YouTube videos, it's all dedicated towards understanding narcissism, which is a little bit ironic, because that isn't the whole point of trying to get over narcissism, to just walk away and not focus. It doesn't matter. My big sister used to say narcissist is just a fancy word for asshole. And yeah, pretty much I would say that's all you need to know. And if you don't want to be in the company of an asshole, the only thing you can do is walk away. And the end. Okay, there's a lot more layers than that. A lot of people have to learn, so I'm not going to poo-poo too much on it. But I would say the greatest healing power would come from understanding that emotions are actually something that we know very little about, but in fact are more important drivers behind how the world is shaped, how the world is seen, and how the world is experienced than anything else. So on that note, this is the Om, calling out from somewhere in the middle of nowhere, Germany, just unpacking one thought at a time. Peace out until next time.